XRP being integrated into Japan's financial system. I personally believe that this is happening. In this video, I'm going to go over so much information regarding this. But this does take me back to like roughly 2020, like 2019 or so, where that article came out regarding by like 2025, all Japanese banks will be running on the XRP ledger. Now that article obviously was fake. There wasn't, substance behind it. There was no source. It was probably written by some random, individual. And, there's definitely been a lot of misinformation throughout the years. But one thing that we are noticing is the expansions happening within Japan based around Ripple and even the XRP ledger. So let's start off with one of the biggest ones that we got, which was back in the middle of December. Now, this was with Doppler Finance, which is the first XRP5 protocol. And we got the announcement saying that they were pleased to announce that they are partnering between SBI, Ripple Asia, and Doppler Finance. Together, we will explore collaboration, the XRP-based yield infrastructure, and RWA tokenization on the XRP ledger, advancing institutional-grade finance on the XRP ledger. Now, the core thing about this is this. So this partnership represents the first collaboration between SBI, Ripple Asia, and an XRP ledger native protocol, signaling growing institutional confidence in XRP-Fi. By combining SBI Ripple Asia's leadership in digital finance and Doppler's regulated yield-focused infrastructure, both parties aim to accelerate the adoption of transparent and compliant on-chain yield infrastructure. As part of this initiative, SBI Digital Markets, an MAS-regulated entity, has been appointed as the institutional custodian, providing segregated and independent custody solutions. This collaboration strengthens Doppler's presence in Japan and reinforces our broader mission to establish XRP as a productive yield-bearing asset for institutions while maintaining the highest regulatory and operational standards. Yes, Doppler's presence in Japan just expanded, and this is all through Ripple, SBI Ripple Asia. Now, to build on top of this, I go back here to December 23rd. This is from Ashish Birla, previous Ripple employee. This is regarding 2026. 2026 could be the beginning of institutional DeFi. With regulatory clarity advancing, enterprise demand is growing. The next phase of digital assets won't be speculative. It'll be institutional, global, and value-driven. That is a major statement. This is something that we are looking forward to because we want to get away from the hype and speculation side of crypto. Now, the reason why this is very important is because we just recently got a big update from Evernorth, which is the company that Ashish Birla is now the CEO of. This is the XRP digital asset treasury company. Now, this is their full new team. Now, we don't need to open up this document because they give us the full team here. So Ashish Birla, obviously CEO. We have their chief business officer as well. Over a decade of XRP experience coming with, a lot of these major players as well, which is a very big deal. This individual actually led the acquisition of digital asset custody platform Medico, which is definitely big. On top of that, we also have their chief financial officer as well. You can kind of see their backing, including 20 years at Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, and head of global strategic capital, managing over $8 billion. Again, almost every single one of these players are very significant financial players, blockchain players, etc. Chief operating officer, pretty much straightforward here, nothing too crazy. Obviously, they worked with companies, such as we have here, built the card infrastructure and payment processing platform used by companies such as Coinbase and Venmo. And then we also have the chief legal officer, pretty straightforward as well. But a lot of great individuals here. Obviously, there's a lot of Ripple employees that are also tied back to Evernorth, which we've gone over in the past. But the reason why I'm bringing back up Evernorth and I'm looking at the team here is because of what they recently announced, which we'll get to here in a moment. But I want to quickly let you guys know that the Discord down in the description below, as well as in the comments below, it's completely free. You guys should be joining it. There's a ton of crypto native individuals in there, a lot of information. 2026, we are going to be completely upgrading the entire Discord. There's going to be a lot more information being pushed into the Discord. I'm bringing on a lot more team members as well. So if you guys do want to join this, you guys are more than welcome to right now. There's over 13,000 members in there. Obviously, it's fully free. You guys can join up right now, no cost. There is a premium side if you guys do want to go and check that out as well. But again, the free side, there's a ton of value in it. So if you guys do want to join up, now would be the best time. Now let's go over here real quick to the most recent update from Evernorth, which is of course including Doppler Phi. Here we've entered a strategic collaboration with Doppler Finance to advance institutional liquidity and treasury use cases on the XRP ledger. Together, we are exploring structural frameworks for deploying XRP at scale. This is a very big deal because number one, we are building on top of the Doppler Finance integration, which is already there. We are also building on top of SBI, Ripple Asia, and then also Evernorth. All of these companies involved are here to make sure that XRP is as successful as possible. This is extremely bullish. We have here Evernorth and Doppler Finance collaborate to power institutional XRP infrastructure. By collaborating with Doppler, we are advancing practical frameworks for deploying institutional XRP liquidity on-chain. Institutional is the focus here, with the goal of setting a higher standard for how XRP is used, managed, and scaled across global markets. In this full breakdown, right, we have it here. The key thing that we are looking at, and this kind of goes back to let's go back to this. I want to open up this link real quick because there's one thing that I saw within this breakdown of the full team and, them going live, which was this part here, the transaction details. And let me just zoom in so that you guys can see this. So here we have the plan going forward. Obviously, they want to build one of the largest institutional XRP treasuries in the world, but the main focus here is validator participation in network security. Operating XRP validators is pretty straightforward how it strengthens the resilience and decentralization. DeFi integration, leveraging Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin as an on-ramp into the XRP-based decentralized finance, enabling yield opportunities and broader adoption of XRP as collateral. Market development, providing liquidity and participating in projects that expand XRP's real-world utility across payments, capital markets, and tokenized assets. They are fully focused on expanding XRP utility, making sure that XRP brings in a ton of institutional liquidity. This is one of the most bullish companies around XRP. And now we are seeing them expand with Doppler Finance, which is also building currently another key piece of the XRP Ledger ecosystem, which is tokenized RWA yield. This is yield infrastructure for RWA assets. But if we look into this, through this collaboration, Evernorth and Doppler are exploring initiatives designed to support institutional adoption of the XRP Ledger ecosystem with a focus on structured liquidity deployment, potential treasury management strategies, and development of a resilient long-term ecosystem foundation. Under the collaboration, they are exploring institutional liquidity deployment frameworks that may support treasury management activities on the XRP Ledger, such as the evaluation of on-chain products and mechanisms for deploying XRP capital at scale. This is very exciting because, again, it's all based around accelerating adoption of the XRP Ledger through institutional-based clients. The next phase of XRP Ledger adoption will be driven by institutions that demand clarity, structure, and real economic utility. This is from Ashish Birla. By collaborating with Doppler, we are advancing practical frameworks for deploying institutional XRP liquidity on-chain with the goal of setting a higher standard for how XRP is used, managed, and scaled across global markets. Working with Evernorth represents a meaningful step forward in expanding institutional participation across the XRP Ledger. By aligning institutional liquidity with robust infrastructure and disciplined risk frameworks, we aim to unlock XRP's full potential as a scalable yield-generating asset for global markets. Wow. This is very bullish. Now, where does Japan come into play? How will all of this work? And what's the real focus here? Well, here we have over here from Riz XRP. This is with Ashish Birla on the XRP pod from Paul Barron. This is regarding Evernorth, South Korea, and of course, Japan. Check this out.
I was just in Korea a couple of weeks ago. I'm going back in a couple of weeks ago. The amount of innovation and interest in Korea and Japan just boggles my mind.
Yeah.
And again, regulation also coming up in those two countries as well. So I'm excited about that. But there's also very interesting partners in those two countries that are building technologies on top of the XRP ledger that I'm excited about. And then listen, like working directly with the developers on the XRP platform, I'm excited about what's coming there. XLS 66 was something that, the specs have been published out there. It helps with institutional lending. It's very well thought out, in my opinion. And that is something that we can potentially participate in terms of getting yield.
But yeah.
And working with other partners as well to generate yield. So the more we can do it directly on the XRP ecosystem, when it's ready, when it's robust, the better. But we'll look at traditional ways to generate yield as well in the more TradFi ecosystem.
So yeah, I mean, listen, they are fully focused on yield generation, obviously, institutional, adoption as well. But the main thing that we are listening for in this podcast is the fact that, yes, South Korea, Japan, all these areas, they are starting to innovate in a very rapid way. The best part about this is that Ripple and XRP are major players in those areas. And if we just go back to September, we know that Japan has been leading in crypto adoption. This is among the Asia Pacific region's top 5 markets, seeing a 120% year-over-year increase in on-chain value received. So Japan is a massive name here. And we also just got confirmation on the 5th that Japan's Minister of Finance said that she supports integrating crypto into the financial system. This is a very, very significant announcement. This is clearly telling us that Japan is ready. And guess who's right there at the forefront of this? SBI Ripple Asia. Ripple has established this venture a very long time ago now. They've been working with SBI since the beginning, and this is all to create the internet of value in Japan and other Asian regions by merging the expertise and technology of both companies. And yes, this is all through utilizing DLT through a single API. XRP, the XRPL tapped in, and the main focus here is to supercharge real-time and small value transfers in Japan, all throughout changing the cross-border e-commerce game for Japanese companies, even retail as well. Ripple is fully focused on this, and of course SBI is right there behind them. And let's not forget SBI Remit, which is also working with Ripple. This is to power instant remittances between Japan and Thailand. This is another big initiative to focus on. I mean, guys, SBI and Ripple go back years and years and years now. So what's crazy about this is like Ripple is fully focused on Japan. They've always been focused on Japan, but they are, right there at the forefront to make sure that, considering the fact that Japan is now in support of integrating crypto, well, Ripple and XRP could be right there at the forefront as a top choice. Let's not forget that going back to April of 2024, Ripple joined forces with Hashkey DX to introduce XRP Ledger-powered enterprise solutions in Japan, all the way back in 2024. And by the way, Hashkey is a significant player. They have over 4,000 companies registered. That was back in July of 2019. That includes 23 banks and 4,300 suppliers. And of course, yes, this is a full-on collaboration between Ripple and SBI Ripple Asia to build out solutions for supply chain finance, all on the XRP Ledger. Here you have it. And what's even crazier, we go back to June 9th of 2025. Unlocking innovation in Japan, Ripple partners with Web3 Salon to support the next wave of digital asset startups, all in, of course, with Asia Web3 Alliance Japan. This is all based around Japan. Ripple is 100% committed to Japan. Now, we do still see major expansions happening because 2026 is here and ROUSD begins to get distributed Q1 of this year through SBI in Japan. We are constantly seeing major expansions happening in Japan through major Ripple products, even through XRP and the XRPL, at the same exact time that now the Minister of Finance in Japan is fully supporting integrating crypto into the financial system. And this is going to be one of many major announcements this year for the integration of crypto, but Japan is a key player here, especially considering the fact that Evernorth, Doppler, SBI Ripple Asia, Hashkey, even the Web3 Salon, all of these major initiatives based around Ripple are all based in Japan. They're all fully focused on Japan. The timing couldn't be more perfect. This is why, in my opinion, Ripple and XRP are going to see a major integration into the Japanese financial system. In my opinion, they already are. I mean, SBI is not a small-time name. Like, if we're thinking about what's happening here, Ripple, a very long time ago, with SBI, they already, got the green light to power the Japanese economy. Now, maybe it's not going to just be Ripple and XRP. Maybe they won't move all the money in Japan. But I would say that they're going to be a major player in the evolution of the Japanese economy into the digital age. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video.